What's up everybody, Straw Hats Are Cool here, and we are back again with another video. Today we are going to be hopping back on the One Piece card game simulator, this time to take a look at Red Green Oden. If you find anything in this video informative, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. Additionally, if you enjoy talking about the One Piece card game or just all things One Piece in general, do consider joining the Discord. Link for that will be down in the description. We also will be doing some giveaways over there during the next couple weeks, so if you are interested in that, please check it out. Link will be in the video description. And lastly, if you are planning to buy any singles off of TCG Player, do consider using our affiliate link, which will be in the video description as well. If you use that link and buy any cards off of TCG Player, a small percentage of your purchase will go towards supporting me and the channel. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. So today we are going to be taking a look at Red Green Oden. This is the last leader which I have yet to cover on the channel from EB01. And as much as I want to like this leader, he just does not work very well in the current format, in my opinion. Of the new leaders, I think he's the most linear in build as well, because you are kind of locked into running 5 cost or higher Wano characters, which is a bit restrictive. So you can't get as creative with the deck building in this one as you could with Kyros or Hannibal. And I think that does limit what the deck can do quite a bit. I loved Mono Green Oden in sets 1 and 2, so I really wanted to like this leader a little bit more just because I love Oden as a character. But unfortunately, this leader in just such a removal heavy format is very difficult to make work. But here's what we've got going on. So Red Green Oden is a standard dual color leader, 5,000 power for life. He's got 2 effects which are both pretty good. The first one says that according to the rules, your characters with the type Land of Wano without counter have 1000 counter. This is really nice because one of the issues that the Wano deck had initially, in my opinion, is that a lot of your powerful cards did not have counter, and as a result, you typically had a deck that was very limited on counter cards. This effect just fixes that problem entirely by giving all of your dead cards counter. The second effect states that for 1 Dawn when attacking, if you have a cost 5 or greater Land of Wano character in play, this leader gains 1000 power until the start of your next turn. This is really nice because essentially it makes you Whitebeard for a turn, being a 6000 power leader, which is really nice, but being a bit restrictive that you do have to have a 5 cost or higher Land of Wano. That Land of Wano restriction, I think, like I said, is really what limits this deck and what it's able to do. I think there could be a lot more variety in what the deck could do, maybe running in a Whitebeard package if not for that restriction. But because of that restriction, we are locked into running kind of a Wano package. So the first card we've got here is a new one which was introduced in EB01. This is Izo, a 5 cost 7000 power character with no counter, but keep in mind all of our Land of Wano type characters without counter really do have counter, so that is a nice bonus there. He's got the on play effect that states attach up to 1 Rested Dawn to your leader or one of your characters. This works really nicely with our leader effect, as we do need to have a Dawn on it to get his effect off. So we can play this on 5 and then attach Rested Dawn to our leader, attack, we become a 7k for the attack and then a 6k leader on our opponent's turn, which is really nice. He's got an additional effect that states when an opponent attacks once per turn, you may trash a card from your hand. If your leader has the Land of Wano or Whitebeard Pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's leader or characters minus 2000 power during this turn. So all in all, Izo is a really good card, one of the best cards in the deck in my opinion. Being a 5 cost for your leader effect, as well as being able to give that Rested Dawn the proc your leader effect, is very nice. And then in addition to that, it can give all your dead cards essentially 2000 power counter, as you will be able to give one of your opponent's characters or leaders minus 2000 power. Now, the minus 2000 power is actually better than counter in a lot of ways, specifically for characters that can restand and attack multiple times. This reduced power does stick with them for the turn, which is a nice bonus. We got another new card which was introduced in EB01. This is Yamato, a 5 cost 5000 power character with 2k counter, and the effect that states activate main once per turn, give up to one of your rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Just another card we can play on 5 that allows us to proc our leader effect as well. Realistically, this is a 2k counter most of the time, but it's a Land of Wano type card, costs 5, and can give our leader a rested Dawn, so it just fits perfectly with what the deck is trying to do. We've got Otama, another 2k counter that I'm sure most of us are familiar with at this point. Otama is a 1 cost 0 power character with 2000 power and the effect that says on play give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power during this turn. Just a good way to help us clear bodies if we need to attack into them. Additionally, it can synergize with the next card we're going to talk about, which is Whitebeard, another card that I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with. 9 cost, 10,000 power. On play, up to one of your leaders gains plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. And life cards can't be added to your hand by effects. That doesn't really matter with Oden. But then he's got the second effect that states Dawn times 2 when attacking, KO up to one of your opponent's 3000 power or less characters. So as we mentioned, it does synergize with Otama. If maybe our opponent's got a 5k blocker on the board, we can play Otama, put some Dawn on Newgate, clear the blocker, and then we've got 12k attack coming in, which is pretty powerful. The first effect though, really nice. If we've already gotten the buff from our attacking effect, Newgate will boost us up to an 8000 power leader until the start of our next turn. So very reminiscent of Newgate in that regard. Can be a little bit tricky to have both a 5 cost Wano character on board when you drop this because of just how much removal there is in the current format. But when it happens, it does feel pretty nice. Next card we've got is Starter Deck Nami, 1 cost 1000 power character with 1000 power, and the same effect as the Yamato there that just states we can give a rested Dawn card to our leader or one of our characters. Just a cheap card we can play out, leave it on the board, and give rested Dawn to our leader. So even if we don't have something like the Izo to play out, we can play out one of our other 5 cost characters on curve and then still have the ability to give a Dawn card to our leader after doing that, allowing us to be that 6k leader just a little bit earlier. Next up, we've got Hiyori, another card from EB01. As you can see, quite a few cards from EB01 that synergize well with the deck. Hiyori is a 4 cost 0 power character with 1k counter. In an effect that states activate main, you may place this card into the trash and then play up to one of your 5 cost or less Land of Wano type characters other than Hiyori from your hand into play, and then you draw 1 card. So it essentially allows us to play our 5 cost characters just a little bit earlier. So if we go second, we can start playing out our 5 cost characters as soon as turn 2 if we have the Hiyori in hand. It does have some other nice synergies, which we'll talk about a little later. Next up, another new card from EB01. This one's just a vanilla character, 5 cost, 7000 power, 1k counter. We are only running this because it is another option for a 5 cost character with the Land of Wano typing to help us get our leader effect activated. But other than that, I mean, it's just a vanilla character. It's the worst of the cards we have because essentially all of our 5 cost 7000 power characters are vanillas because they do have counter thanks to Oden's leader effect. We've got 4 copies of Izo, one of the best 2k counters in green, another one I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with. 3 cost 3000 power, 2k counter as we mentioned, and it's got the on play effect that allows us to rest one of our opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Another card that's good at helping us get past blockers if necessary when trying to go for game. In addition to that, it's just a 2k counter, which is always nice. We've got Momo, which is of course our searcher for the deck. 1 cost, 0 power, 1k counter. The effect, activate main, pay 1, press this card, and then you look at the top 5, grab a Land of Wano type card, and then put the rest at the bottom in any order. So just some added consistency for the deck. And these tap searchers also function as pseudo blockers a lot of times, as your opponent is kind of incentivized to attack into them. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting to search every single turn. So especially if they don't have any little characters on the board themselves, they may have to waste their leader attack attacking into this, which is an added bonus. This is an old card from OP01, but one that many of you may not be familiar with. This is Denjiro, a 5 cost, 7,000 power character. No counter, but again, with our Oden effect, it does have 1k counter. And it's got the effect that states Dawn ×1 when attacking. If your leader is Sakazuki Oden, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck in particular. Just being able to play something out and then put a Dawn on Denjiro to restand 2 is really, really nice. Helps you kind of flood the board at times, just being able to get extra value out of your Dawn, or just be able to allow you to boost up your attacks just a little bit more by restanding some Dawn. Next, we've got 3 copies of the 4 cost Yamato, 6,000 power character, no counter. It says that this character's name is also treated as Sakazuki Oden. For the purpose of this deck, that effect does not matter, but it also has the on-play effect to rest up to one of our opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. Just a pretty nicely statted character that allows us to rest pretty big stuff. Sometimes we just want to start attacking into our opponent's board rather than our life, and this is a pretty good way to enable that. Also, with our leader effect, of course, this does also have counter, so it's not a dead card in hand. Last character of the deck is Ryuma. This is a newer card from OP06, 4 cost, 6,000 power. It's got an on-play / on KO effect that states we can KO up to one of our opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. Now, generally speaking, your opponent is able to play around the KO effect side of things, so that's generally not going to get you a lot of value. However, the on-play effect does synergize pretty well with the deck just being a Land of Wano, and with all the powerful 4 cost cards in the format, especially in decks like Red Purple Law, this can be a good body to drop just to help clear your opponent's board, as well as establish a body of your own. Now, the last card we've got here is You Can Be My Samurai. This is a card that hasn't seen a lot of play in recent times. However, if we take a look into what's going on over in the Eastern meta, we have seen this card starting to pop up just a little bit more in decks like Verona. But it is a 1 cost event card that states, main, you may rest 2 of your characters and then draw 2 cards if you do. So this card might seem like a little bit of an odd pick, but it's part of the reason I'm running starter deck Nami, as well as the Hiyori, because these are both characters that, like, the Nami, you're not really going to be attacking with this. It's just there to help you get that rested Dawn. But if you had it on board already, you can drop Hiyori, and then before you use her effect, you can play You Can Be My Samurai to rest something like the Nami and the Hiyori, draw 2 cards, and then you can still use the activate main effect of Hiyori to trash her and play out one of your 5 costs, which is really, really nice. It also kind of allows your Nami to function as a chump blocker at times, which is also pretty good, and just helping you maintain hand advantage. I think one of the biggest things that is hurting Oden's ability to perform is the fact that he is a 4-life leader. And what that essentially means is that over the course of a game, you're just going to see less cards than a 5-life leader because you've got 1 less life than they do. I think if Oden was a mono green leader, honestly, and some of these cards were just green, like the Izo, the deck would be a lot better, just having that additional sustainability with the 5th life. So I think being a dual colored does hurt the deck a little bit, but we're trying our best to make it work. It's probably going to be a little difficult to get wins with this deck, but certainly will be a fun one to take to locals. Last thing I want to talk about before we get into the gameplay, though, is just some things to consider. So these are cards that I am not personally playing in my deck, but I think could be good inclusions for the deck. First one is Kid Killer. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power character with Rush. And it's got the additional effect that states when attacking, if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, it gets an additional 2,000 power until the end of the turn. Just a really powerful Rush card that can help you close out the game. And there have been times where it has been a little difficult for the deck to close out games, just because of how much removal there is in the format. A lot of times your characters are not sticking, and you just need one more attack on board to close out the game. So I think Kid Killer could be a nice inclusion for that regard. Additionally, I've seen some builds that are running a more kind of aggressive board spam variant that are running the Okiku and Kinemon, which I think are a solid inclusion, but again, they're pretty easy to remove and they're not doing anything for you as soon as you hit the field, which is why I'm not running it personally. Got Yamato. If you've been watching any of my Market Watch videos, you'll probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but I do think it can work in this deck in particular because it is another 5-cost Land of Wano character. You could probably split this with the vanilla if you would like, but I'm just opting to run the vanilla instead because this one's a little easier for some decks to remove. We've got the 8-cost Oden, another 5-cost or more Wano character you could run. Allows you to get your leader effect off. It also just allows you to put a lot of pressure on your opponent if it does survive going into the next turn. But I do think that if you run Oden, you probably should be running something like Okiku as well, so that you can get some additional value out of its secondary effect. We've also got Cat Viper. This is just a blocker, but with our leader effect, it does also have counter, so it's not a dead card in hand. There have been some times where I wish I did have a blocker, and I think this is a pretty good one to fill that spot. Being 4,000 power is pretty nice, as for a lot of the removal in decks like Red, it is 3,000 power base, so this isn't something that Red Green Law can just bottom deck on the spot. They would have to use some power reduction to get around it, so I think it's a pretty good fit. Also something you could play off of Kinemon if you're choosing to go that route, but not the route I decided to go. And lastly, we've got Radical Beam. Having an event counter might be nice, especially just a nice 1-cost, give you 4,000 power, could be good, but you know, these are things to consider. Like I said, I'm not running these cards personally, but if you do choose to run them, I don't think it's a bad thing. So with all that said, let's go ahead and dive into the gameplay. Okay, we've got a game here against Mono Green Uta. Feeling a little bit defeated right now. We just played against Black Yellow Luffy. Had a really incredible game, to be honest with you. Very close. Came down to the wire. But as I got to the end of the video, as soon as the match concluded, I realized that I never hit record on the match, so unfortunately we'll not be able to show that one off the channel. Really quite upset about that. It was a really good game, but let's see if we can maybe get another good game here against Uta. Deck got a lot of support in EB01, so gonna be seeing a lot more Uta running around. Go ahead and play out the Nami. Next turn we could Hiyori and use the You Can Be My Samurai potentially, if they don't have a way to get rid of our Nami. Probably don't. The only card I think the deck runs that would be able to have some way to remove this would be Backlight, which would rest the card. Could have potentially allowed them to remove it. I doubt we'll see that. Getting the Izo here is really nice as well. Better than playing out the Yamasan. And then they're just going to be doing another attack here for 6k. Don't have any 2k, so I am just going to take this one. And then for our Bordon, we can draw, play out the Yori. We'll use the You Can Be My Samurai, rest those two. Then we can use the Hiyori effect, play out the Izo. And then we use the Nami effect. We get an 8k attack in here. So opponent has not developed anything on board yet, which is, I mean, they've got the blocker, but you know, that's not going to be getting any attacks in for them. Gonna be seeing a 7k attack come here. May see them drop a Brook or even a Nami to get an additional search off. They are running the Robin, and they are going to be attacking into the Nami. So there we can see, like I said, Nami kind of functioning as a chump blocker for us there, which is pretty nice. And we do see the Brook into another blocker there. We've got another Izo. Would it potentially be better for us here to play out the Yamato? Maybe start trying to attack into their board. I almost like that a little bit more, I think. So I am going to play out the Yamato. And then we can swing 7 into the Brook. See if they want to give us cards for it, or if they're just going to choose to let it go. They do just let it go. So we'll do another 7k here. And then we'll play out the Momonosuke to help us get another search off. They may potentially attack into this instead of our leader on the next turn. The Hiyori's not bad since we do have another You Can Be My Samurai. So I do think that is going to be the take here. Help us draw some more cards. You know, we don't get to draw off our leader effect like Yamato does, but with the help of You Can Be My Samurai and Hiyori, we do get to have some pretty nice card advantage. Still not yet been able to develop anything on their board that is impactful yet. Could potentially see an 8-cost kid come down here, or the 7-cost Luffy, which is what we're going to see. And then we're going to see that dropped into the Nami. I could potentially rest it again. Yeah, and then they are just going to attack into the Momo. We are just going to let that go. You have a lot of blockers. I don't think attacking into the Nami here is going to be good enough. But I'm not sure. We could... We do have 9 Dawn, so we could do it. I think I'm going to try it. And then we can do the Hiyori. We will do it on these two. Play the Izo. Give Dawn to leader. Then we can start doing some 7Ks into the Nami. Give us some cards or start using their blockers. So we've got a better board in comparison to our opponent right now. Another Hiyori's nice. We could potentially do that with the Denjiro next turn. Got 9 cards in hand. They will just be able to get a free block here with the Luffy on the Yamato. But if they do, probably just going to block here and give a 1k now is what we see. But we are getting cards out of their hand. Generally speaking, they're going to be want to play in something pretty big out, which means we might get to keep our board. They do have a backlight, which is a little bit frustrating. Don't feel like we're going to be able to get this one, to be honest. Just going to let it go. They just have so much more card advantage than we do, unfortunately. We'll give them the Yama-san here. We got another backlight. And they may just attack with Luffy as well. They do not. Got the Nami here, as well as the Hiyori, so we will get to draw some more cards. We can... Better to play out the Denjiro. think it's better to play out the Ezo because now we can. We could try and get some cards out of their hand first, which I do think I like. So we'll play out the... Well, no, we can't play out the Dendro. We can still get the rested with the Nami. And I think having the Dendro out might be a little better for us. And we can attach one here. Attack into the... Better to try and get cards, because if they just let it go, things feel worse. So I do think, yeah, we're just gonna KO it. And then we'll swing some 7s into life. So we still got an okay board. A couple 2Ks left in hand. But they just have the ability to get so much more hand advantage than we do. Have not seen an 8-cost kid yet, which is good for us. Hopefully we don't see that come down here. With all these blockers on board that they have right now, it'd definitely be a bit problematic for us. Are going to be attacking a Nami. Again, getting another pseudo block off that is nice. And they do have the 8-cost kid here, playing out the Uta as well. Could potentially see them just choose to attack with the Luffy, as they can restand it with the Uta, but that is not what they choose to do. So, play on another Ezo. I think so. Give it to our leader. We can start getting cards out of their hand for sure. Restand some Dawn here with the Denjiro. Get another attack in here. I think it's better to just do these 8k attacks and try to whittle down their hand. I believe we can do 2 more 8s and then play out the Momonosuke as well. So we go at 7. When we attack, it will be boosted to 8. And do another 8. And then we can search with the Momonosuke. They are just blocking these 8s though, which means they don't want to go too low on their hand size here. Then we will search with Momo. Think here we just grab out another 2k. And then we will end the turn. They've still got the kid, but they've only got 3 cards left in hand, and we are winning on board right now. Have not been choosing to attack with Luffy, which I do think may be a mistake. I think getting a little bit of added pressure by attacking with Luffy could be pretty good for the opponent here. And they've also been choosing to attack into things like our Nami, essentially just helping free up our board and give us, like we said, the pseudo blocker, which has been pretty nice. Could potentially see them choose to do that again here with the Momonosuke. Definitely want to try and protect my board here. I do think we're going to need it in order to close out the game. Let's not use either of the Ezo effects here and just drop the Yamasan. Keep the Ryuma just in case maybe they decide to rest something like their Uta. Give us a way to clear that. Choosing to attack into my 7k leaders is fine with, or 7k characters is fine with me. Easier to defend than my life. Gonna be seeing a 9k attack into the Denjiro. We're just going to give them 2 Yamatos. We are losing our hand size. They could have another Luffy here. It does seem to be likely. Another Uta, as well as another 2 cost. Do they attack with the Luffy now? They are keeping our Momonosuke on the board here. They are going to attack with the Luffy. Doesn't really matter. I think I want to keep it though. Just as many attacks as possible for us here. Seems like the best case scenario for us. They do get to restand the Luffy there. Go ahead and search. Grab ourselves another 2k. And then we can do, we're gonna start doing 8s, 9s. Start with a 9, the kid. Get that one back from the Momo. We're gonna block that one. 9, 9. 8, 8. They have a 2k left. They don't. They don't play any rushers in this deck, so we actually might be able to get it here now. We still got that 2 life left. All they've got on board is the kid. They haven't really been able to put a lot of pressure on us. They've really just been playing a lot of blockers. They do get another blocker there. We'll say no. We'll give them... I guess we could have played out the Otama. Probably would have had to give us the kid then. We'll give them an Ezo. Another Luffy into the Uta. And then I think we just let the Denjiro go. I don't want to give him my whole hand. We will still get a search with the Momonosuke. Grab another Otama. Is it better here to... Probably. Let's just play out the Otama now. Defending it is going to be a lot harder. Probably just let it go here. But I think we can clear their whole board here. Let's just do a 7. See if they want to block with the Luffy and give a counter, maybe. Definitely be better for us. My opponent don't think is playing optimally here. Now I can just split my Dawn. So this is 9. As long as I do 9s. They have to take, and then they're gonna have to block here. So should mean there's no way for my opponent to win now. Nothing on board. I've still got 2 life and a nice solid board of attackers here. You are drawing out another blocker. Sure. We'll trash this. And then, yeah, they disconnect there. Or maybe we're going to play out another kid, but didn't really matter. Definitely kind of got to show the power of the You Can Be My Samurai. I think we got to play 3 of them that game, which was pretty cool. Maybe only 2 of them, but we definitely got to kind of showcase the combo, draw a bunch of cards. Like I said, I don't think my opponent was playing optimally there with some of their blocks, but hey, a win's a win. We were able to get there in the end. I think that was a pretty good one as well. Still a little salty that I forgot to hit record on that Black Yellow Luffy game, but let's see if we can get another good one. All right, game against Magellan. We're going to choose to go second here. Not going to mulligan this hand. This one's okay. Got a pretty decent curve here. Hannibal did get some new support with EB01. I think we're just going to take the Yamato here. Got a couple new... I think they got 1 new Jailer Beast. Not sure what else Purple Impel Down got off the top of my head, if anything. But I know they have the Rush Jailer Beast now. Gonna be buying out that Hannibal there to search. They got the Magellan to play out, so that is going to be a bit annoying for us. And they're just going to attack into the Momonosuke, which makes sense. Let's just do that. I don't know if that's right, but we're just gonna try and not give them cards right now. Outside of potentially 9-drop Kaido, Magellan shouldn't really have many more removal options unless they are playing a little heavier on the Animal Kingdom side of things, potentially playing cards like Queen, or I mean King, not Queen. They are playing Queen. They're not playing the Magellan here. There is the new Rush from EB01. We're just gonna take that one, getting the Ryuma. And then I think here I'm gonna play out the Denjiro. Attack for 7. And then attack for 6. So we'll counter out of that one. Got plenty of Izos here. Start playing out the following turns. Got the Whitebeard as well. They are playing the King, so they are playing a bit of a Animal Kingdom package. We're just gonna give them the Ryuma. If they want to attack with Queen, that is fine by me. Take that one. Go ahead and play out the Izo. Let's do 8 into the Queen to restand some Dawn. Let it go. Play out another Izo, swing 7. Pretty good turn for us there. These are 5 costs, which means they can't KO him with another King if that's what they've got cooking. And they are not yet enough Dawn to start playing out the 9-drop Kaido, which I would assume they are running as well. Next turn, we can play out Newgate. Attack with Denjiro, assuming it lives. I really do want to keep the Denjiro. Trash. Cancel. Gotta be very careful with how you use those effects. I just want to go all in. That's annoying. Now I can't do Newgate as intended. That's very annoying. So I guess we'll just play out another Izo. He's 7. Just try and win board here. I think I kind of have to be honest. Let it go. leader. And now we should be able to live. We got lots of 2Ks, got the EZOs, so we can use our dead cards as 2Ks. I can't yet drop 9-drop Kaido. Just gonna be going for our face. And in this spot, I think we just take it, because I don't think they are going to be able to kill us. So I imagine here they're just going to go all in, and then we can probably close out the game next turn. We've got plenty of attackers for it. Imagine that's what we see, but no. It is not what we're going to be seeing from our opponent. Let's just go ahead and trash. You can be my samurai, give -2. And then let it be like that. Little Saudi, play out the rush. I don't know why you wouldn't just go all in there. Dropping a 2K from hand seems a little bit foolish in that position. But hey, I'm not complaining. Let's start with 7. Get them to start giving me cards. They have no 2Ks, it seems, so let's do another 7. Okay, and then we do 7. And we play Newgate for funsies and the rest. And we got it. Yeah, definitely some questionable plays from my opponent. Don't really think it mattered too much in the end. But yeah, definitely think it would have been better to just go all in there than play out their 2K. But heyo, it is what it is. Saying they got a horrible hand, but I mean, they had some stuff. I was just able to answer a lot of what they did. Yeah, Magellan though, not a very meta deck. So let's see if we can get a match against something else. All right, game here against Enel. Another one of our very many not great matchups. But we will see where we can get. Probably should have not kept this hand. We'll play out the Nami. Pass it over to our opponent. Playing out the Flam play early to get some card advantage on Enel's side of things. Take the 6. Got the Will You Be My Samurai. Ugh. Let's just do that. I don't want to give him more cards yet. The good dots. It's annoying for sure. 6. No Onami trigger, please. Well, they must have got something. Amaru. Interesting that they chose to trigger that there. Going pretty neg in hand for that, but maybe they've not got much counter. Playing out a Cracker. And then don't think I want to give them a whole hand. I'd give them 3 cards since they've got the Enel as well. So they'll save the Ryuma. Give him a Yamato. Ay, ay, ay. Attack there. And then could just draw cards. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Just need to try and outvalue them, I guess, but this matchup's so annoying because their life can just bail them out if they've got like Onamis in there, just start KOing all our 5 cost. The Okikus, which we can't really deal with all that easily. But we'll see what we can do. Playing out the Katakuri. Putting our guy in our life. Then swinging 6, which I will take. Wish that I had another Yamato. Let us could play out the ESO, get the cracker. I don't totally hate it. Let's we attack into it and they let it go. We can just play out Denjiro. And then if we draw into another Will You Be My Samurai, later we can still use it to proc that effect. Hopefully my opponent doesn't... Ooh, yeah, they're going to be real aggressive here. We will take that one. Okay. Interesting. Not great for us, to be honest. Can try and start pressuring them a little bit, but not a ton, because I've only got 4 attackers and they've still got 3 life. Let's play out the Momo. Search. Grab another Ezo, I suppose. And then do a 7. Could... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we live. Got quite a few 2Ks, but they just like split their Dawn between the 3. I don't know if I have enough to counter out of 2 big attacks. They counter out of this one. I think I'm just going to attack with the Ezo and pass, but they don't. So let us see what they do if we attack another 7. If they counter this one, we just pass. If not, we swing with the Ezo for 7. And then either they counter out of that or they go down to 0. That is assuming that they get no trigger to stop us from doing that if they take here. They did not. So we will just do another 7 here. They take. So get the Rygo trigger. If they don't heal here, they do heal here. Which means they are not going for game. Yeah, you got him, bud. Definitely should defend my board here. Cancel. No block. Yamato, Ryuma. And then probably just drop the Ryuma if the Enel attacks. But it does not. Does not attack with the Enel. Do I have to try and go for game here? I don't think I live otherwise. So let's smack them with a nice 9. And this is assuming, again, they don't have any triggers to stop us here. We take. No trigger. Do another 9 here. Definitely gonna be close. Not see, I've only seen one beige. Haven't seen an Onami. Don't know if they play any blocker triggers. Take. Hirahoshi's certainly not bad, but that's not one where we just insta lose on the spot. So they did get to filter some dead cards out of their hand, but I see no other path here than just going, what is this, 7-12? I think we might have it here. Depends on how many 2Ks they're running. Drop 2 there, though. And we were able to get there in the end. So that one was close. They didn't get any crazy triggers out of their life that whole game. I think they got the Rygo to KO or Momo, but that wasn't really all that impactful, so didn't matter too much. But definitely a close one. If we don't win there, we definitely lose on the spot next turn, especially since they've got the reject. But that was a good one. Very close game. You can win against Enel, but very dependent on what they see in their life. All right, and we are back with the post-game wrap. The deck is fine if your opponent doesn't just remove everything you play. Honestly, I was pretty happy with You Can Be My Samurai. Being able to draw those extra cards was very, very nice. I think that maybe this deck gets a little bit better OP07 once Sakazuki's gone. And in addition to that, you also have access to the new Otama, which is another 2K counter, as well as an on-play searcher, which is another card that does synergize pretty well with You Can Be My Samurai, which I do think is one of the most important cards for this deck. Just having ways to draw you additional cards I think is important, especially considering you're a 4-life leader. And if you want to get value out of being that 6k leader, I think you need the extra card advantage in order to make that happen. I really wish I had been recording that Black Yellow Luffy game, but we did have some pretty nice games overall. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the deck. Have you been playing Red Green Oden? If so, how does your build differ from my own? Be sure to let me know all that stuff down in the comments below. But more importantly than anything else, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. The support really does mean a lot. With all that said, that's going to wrap things up for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.